Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all? Secretary Austin, glad to have you back. You look like you in good playing shape. So I know you've had a tough couple months, but we are glad you're back. Secretary McCord, don't go to sleep on us over there, and I'm going to ask you a question. It's my understanding, the work that we've done, my staff, we have spent $300 billion since 2014 in Ukraine. Does that sound about right to you? I know that's before your time.
That does sound high to me. We did about 300 million a year for Ukraine for a number of years, and then just in the last 2 years we've done about 40. So if you're talking whole of government, it might be. I would have to check, but for DoD that does sound high.
Yeah. Well, my staff looked into it. About 300 billion, their best guesstimate. Right now we're printing or borrowing $80,000 per second, 4.6 million a minute. We can't sustain that much longer. We got to find best ways to spend our money. The DOD Inspector General has said that there's 50 criminal investigations going on right now from money sent to Ukraine. By the way, one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Are you familiar with that, Secretary Austin?
What I am familiar with is that we've given our Inspector General the access that he needs to be able to exercise oversight, and we've just increased his authorization in terms of number of people to have forward there. That's really important. But in terms of monies, specific monies that are being provided to Ukraine, we don't, as you know, Senator, we don't provide money. We provide security assistance in a way of equipment, munitions, and that sort of stuff. And we replenish, when we replenish the things that we've taken out of our own stocks to provide to Ukraine, that work comes through our industrial base. Companies in Alabama are helping to create the weapon systems to replace those systems that we provided to Ukraine. In terms of specific cases that the IG may be referring to, I don't have knowledge of that.
Yeah, I also want to remind you, we are building munitions in our country, and in Alabama we do build quite a few boats, submarines, missiles, and those things. But we do spend a lot of money out of the country on munitions because our industrial base is not near what it used to be. General, can Ukraine win?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Well, what we've said all along is we want to see Ukraine remain a sovereign, independent, and democratic state that has the ability to defend its sovereign territory and deter aggression. And that's been our aim from the very beginning, and it remains our aim. But yes, they can be successful.
I heard Secretary Blinken say last week in Brussels that Ukraine will soon be in NATO. You agree with that?
That's the goal of the NATO members, is to at some point bring Ukraine into NATO, and that's certainly something that Ukraine wants to see.
If you're Russia, would you want that? I'm just asking. I mean, we're playing games with Russia right now. I just want to understand why we would do that.
Certainly, if I was Russia, I would not want that, Senator. I would also not want Finland and Sweden to be a part of NATO, and they are. And the reason that they are is because Putin invaded his neighbor, and without provocation, without justification, and so that's why that's why we are where we are. Instead of making things better for himself, he had the effect of enlarging NATO, which obviously creates worse conditions for him.
Do we have 12 CIA bases in Ukraine? Can you answer that in this setting?
CIA bases?
I got this out of the New York Times, which I don't read very often, but
I'll defer that question to the director of the CIA, Senator.
Okay. All right. Thank you. General Brown, just a quick question. I've had the opportunity to travel bases all over the world since I've had this job for 3 months or 3 years. our morale's not very good. Our recruiting is really dropping. What are you doing to help solve that problem? We need a strong military, and a lot of them tell me, they say, basically, Coach, listen, we're taking all these classes, has nothing to do with killing our adversary. It's about getting along with each other, and I can understand part of that, but we also need a killing machine. What's your answer to that?
Well, as I said in my opening statement, honing our warfighting skills has primacy in all we do. And part of it, building that joint warfighting team, is being able to build a team. And I know you're fully aware of that based on your background. And so it's the work that we do with each one of those service members to bring them and give them all the opportunity and full potential to make this the most lethal, combat credible force in the world.
How do we stop people from getting out of the military right
Well,
now?
Senator, what I will tell you, and I can give you the numbers, but our retention right now across all the services is really good. Our recruiting is now.
I'd love to see that.
And
yeah.
our recruiting is also trending up here in the course of the past several weeks. I've sat down with recruiters from all the various services. I went to military entrance processing station here to talk to them about their process as well. Genesis was highlighted earlier. It's a system, and there's some things we could do better, and I gave them some feedback while I was there. And so recruiting is on the upswing. And the thing, last thing I'd close on is we need to talk about the value of service and talk about what it is to wear the uniform. And the great opportunity, whether you spend 4 years or 4 decades, is really important in what serving in our military or serving at all within our nation and the impact it can have. And I think that those are the things that we can continue to do together.
And I totally agree with you. Our military is about people. It's not really about machines and all those things. It's about people. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tuberville. Senator Rosen, please.